Former CEO of Arrowhead Studios, who is now the chief creative officer for the developer that makes Helldivers 2, recently attempted to explain his claim that he brainwashed players to fight for fascism in the game. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. So if you don't know what he had to say, he did a presentation at the Game Developers Conference where PC Gamer reported that he said this: "What is Helldivers 2 fundamentally? It would probably be fun to play a co-op action shooter where you're put in the shoes of the evil side grunts of pop culture. How many seconds would you be able to survive?" From there, he said, "We asked ourselves, could we brainwash an entire community to fight for a fascist state? Would they? Would we be okay with that?" And turns out, yeah, actually. After claiming he was engaging in this brainwashing, he seemingly tried to downplay it, saying, "We do it all in fun and good spirits, and we actually try to get people to recognize the science of what is a totalitarian state. If you start wearing the same uniform as everybody else and do salutes constantly, you might be in a totalitarian regime." So that's absolutely stupid. It makes no sense whatsoever. Imagine saying that you happen to be in the United States Navy, you're wearing the same uniform, and you're saluting. Apparently, you're in a totalitarian regime. It's nonsensical. It does not pass the sniff test whatsoever. And as we'll get to, I don't think anything this guy is saying passes the sniff test. But anyways, he went on to highlight that totalitarian regimes create pleasing aesthetics. There's something totalitarian regimes are really good at: pleasing aesthetics. He then admitted that following the game's release, he and his company were approached by the United Nations to give a, quote, talk in some form about psychological defense against manipulation. So that is what was originally reported by PC Gamer that he gave a presentation on at the Game Developers Conference. He's claiming that he's brainwashing people to fight for fascism in the game. Okay. It makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, from what I understand, it's heavily inspired by Starship Troopers, the film. You fight for Super Earth as humanity, and you're being attacked by a bunch of alien bugs that have escaped from some kind of farm where they were being farmed for fuel, etc. And they're planet jumping now. And then there's like a bunch of alien races like cyborgs and stuff that are trying to wipe out humanity as well. And so you're fighting a defensive battle. At least that is what I understand. So apparently fighting to save humanity is now totalitarian because you happen to have like humanity united under one government or whatever. Does this guy even know his own game? Like, what is going on? Anyways, he tried to clarify and explain his comments over on X. So this is what he posted to the original PC Gamer coverage on X. He wrote where PC Gamer kind of focused on how he and Arrowhead were approached by the United Nations in their post on X. And he said, "I was a bit uncareful with how I expressed this and didn't realize it could be picked up as something negative. Should have been more clear. They reached out to us after the game blew up to talk about, quote, what role satire in games play in psychological defense against totalitarianism. The quote on us wanting to brainwash the community was made as a note on getting everyone to role play the message of totalitarian state of Super Earth." Again, doesn't really explain or clarify anything. What does that even mean? The quote on us wanting to brainwash the community was made as a note on getting everyone to role play the message. Okay, well, how are you brainwashing them by having them role play? Those are two different things. So he goes on and says, and then he actually admits that the article was good. He says, "Actually, reading the article fully, I think it covers it pretty well, but the title is a bit clickbaity." So he admits that he's fine with the actual article. And then he goes on and says, "I think it's just me trying to share with developers and help make the industry better. And it being misrepresented when you want to help kind of sucks." Well, what is it? Like, again, what is this guy even talking about? He just says, "I think it covers it pretty well." And now he's saying he thinks it's being misrepresented. Well, what is it? Which one is it? It can't be both. I think this guy is just trying to talk out of both sides of his mouth. And it makes absolutely no sense because he goes on. He actually engages with a couple people here. This guy is asking, he points out that what he's saying is nonsensical. And he says, have U-boat players been brainwashed to fight for Germany? If this is how Helldivers 2 devs think it does make other decisions and updates they've made that show contempt for their audience more understandable. And he says, hey, sorry, I was more talking about the community yelling traitor and going with the role playing. So he's saying that he was brainwashing people by getting people to role play as soldiers of Super Earth who are trying to defend humanity from a bunch of bugs and aliens that are trying to kill them. And then if you happen to side with the bugs or aliens, that you would be a traitor. Think that's maybe what he's saying? And then he says, of course, everyone knows it's a joke, but for satire to work, you need to play it straight. But this is all, I mean, Isaac Young has done a really good job on this. He does it a lot better than I'm going to do it here. But is it really satire if these people are literally trying to wipe out humanity and you are fighting to defend humanity and there isn't really anything negative about you defending humanity other than you're trying to do some kind of allegory based on aesthetics, which is what it seems like you're trying to do. So it's not, is it really satire? Is it really satire? So he also attempted to explain his comments in reply to former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern. He described Kern as a rage baiter, always the rage baiter. And then he said this, the other way around, role-playing something gives you the tools to be cautious of it in the real world. So he says that you are actually role-playing fascism, and by role-playing fascism in Helldivers 2, that somehow makes you cautious of it in the real world. But then he also has said, like, people are, like, totally embracing it. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. He then says, not tricking anyone, just fun to play the part of the baddies. So he's saying that you are actually the bad guys by defending humanity from the bugs and the aliens and the cyborgs and the robots that are trying to kill you and destroy humanity. This is literally the bug meme that Isaac Young got leftists to embrace. He is literally aligning himself with bugs that want to wipe out humanity by trying to describe humans as the bad guys. I mean, what? What is going on? What is happening here? And Grums is like, I just reprinted your quotes in the article where you misinterpreted by PC Gamer. And what did you mean by brainwashing? Valid questions that he doesn't explain. He does not explain these questions. He doesn't answer. He does not respond to Grums here at all. He did go on to claim that there are no good bad guys in the traditional sense in Helldivers. Well, you just said that you are the baddies if you are playing the humans, the Helldivers. But now he's saying that there are no good bad guys in the traditional sense. Everything is a gray zone, but Super Earth's exploitation of its own population and silencing of opposing views is, in democratic standards, bad. No, it's not. I don't think this guy understands what totalitarianism is. I don't think he understands what democracy is. Democracy is literally mob rule that does indeed silence people's opposing views. Like, that is the point. It is the tyranny of the majority. That is democracy. That's not what we have in the United States. It's not what we have in most of the West, where we have various forms of Republican governments, constitutional monarchies, constitutional republics, etc. But democracies are literally all about silencing opposing views. Like I said, either this guy is trying to, like, speak out of both sides of his mouth, or he's just completely and utterly clueless and has no idea what he's even talking about. Which the more he posts, the more I think that the guy just doesn't know what he's saying. He has no clue what he's talking about. So in another response to another individual, he kind of said similar things. So obviously you can see the time, like he did this one at 7:31. That one was at 7:45. So this one at 7:31, he says, you can just enjoy it for what it is. I should have been a bit more careful with my wording. To us, it was always obvious that Helldivers are the baddies. Just look at the propaganda and skulls. So again, it's just all about the aesthetic. If you look clean, you have like a certain aesthetic, then you're obviously the bad guys. Well, what? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. This is the problem that I've been talking about for a very long time now. It's not about aesthetics. It's literally about, are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the wrong thing? And that's what it should be about. Like, you can do the good things and dress up like, I guess, in a military uniform that looks really cool. You can still do the right thing. You can also dress up in a military uniform and do the wrong thing, and then you're wrong. Like, aesthetics has nothing to do with whether or not you're choosing right or wrong, but that's what this guy is trying to say, that certain aesthetics automatically equal bad. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it contradicts this idea that there are no good bad guys that he would literally post 15 minutes later. And then a follow-up, he pivoted and said it's up to the player to determine who is in the wrong. Well, you're saying that, but you're saying that they're the baddies. So what is it? Like, he says, the peace, while not an open conflict, does not mean everything was well on Super Earth, but it doesn't say it wasn't either. We let the audience make up their minds about what they think. Well, that's literally not what you're saying right here. You're saying that the people of Super Earth are baddies. And now you're trying to say, well, it's up to the player. But no, it's not, because the players are literally part of Super Earth, and you're fighting against ravenous hordes of aliens, bugs, and cyborgs trying to kill you. It's pretty straightforward. That the bugs, the aliens, the cyborgs that are trying to kill you are the bad guys. Like, what are you talking about? For us, it was a way to move this story forward, and maybe something we explore in the future. Who started the war again is, according to Super Earth, the bugs. But who's to say that what Super Earth reports to its citizens is the truth? Okay. So again, I think just to kind of wrap this up, I don't think this guy has any idea what he's talking about. And I think Norm Macdonald's quote here is fitting. It sounds like some effing commie gobbledygook. So let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.